Project 971, Shkykabi, Shkyka meaning pike, NATO reporting name Akula, is a nuclear-powered attack submarine, SSN, first deployed by the Soviet Navy in 1986. The class is also known under the name Bars, meaning snow leopard. There are 4 subclasses or flights of Shkyka, consisting of the original 7 Akula is, commissioned between 1984 and 1990, 6 improved Akulas, commissioned between 1991 and 2009, 1 Akula 2, commissioned in 1995, and 1 Akula 3, commissioned in 2001. The Russians call all of the submarines Shkykabi, regardless of modifications. Some potential for confusion may exist, as the name Akula, meaning shark in Russian, was used by the Soviets for a different submarine, the Project 941, which is known in the West as the Typhoon class. By contrast, the Project 971, the subject of this article, was named Shkykabi by the Soviets but designated as the Akula class by the West after the name of the lead ship, K-284. The launch of the first submarine in 1985, according to defense analyst Norman Palmer, shook everyone up, as Western intelligence agencies had not expected the Soviet Union to produce such a boat for another 10 years. Construction. The Akula incorporates a double hull system composed of an inner pressure hull and an outer light hull. This allows more freedom in the design of the exterior hull shape, resulting in a submarine with more reserve buoyancy than its Western analogues. This design requires more power than single-hull submarines because of the greater wetted surface area, which increases drag. The distinctive bulb or can seen on top of the Akula's rudder houses its towed sonar array, when retracted. Most Akulas have the SOx hydrodynamic sensors, which detect changes in temperature and salinity. They are located on the leading edge of the sail, on the outer hull casing in front of the sail and on the bottom of the hull forward of the sail. All Akulas have 2 T-shaped doors on the aft bottom of the hull, on either side. These are where the OK-300 auxiliary propulsion devices are located, which can propel the submarine at up to 5 knots, 9.3 km per hour. Akulas, excluding NERPA, are armed with 4 533 mm torpedo tubes which can use Type 53 torpedoes or the SSN-15 Starfish missile, and 4 650 mm torpedo tubes which can use Type 65 torpedoes or the SSN-16 Stallion missile. These torpedo tubes are arranged in 2 rows of 4 tubes each. Improved Akulas, Akula IIS have an additional 6 533 mm torpedo tubes mounted externally, capable of launching possibly up to 6 decoys each. The external tubes are mounted outside the pressure hull in 1 row, above the torpedo tubes, and can only be reloaded in port or with the assistance of a submarine tender. The 650 mm tubes can be fitted with liners to use the 533 mm weaponry. The submarine is also able to use its torpedo tubes to deploy mines. Current status. As with many Soviet/Russian craft, information on the status of the Akula-class submarines is sparse, at best. Information provided by sources varies widely. Project 971, Akula I. Of the 7 original Akulas, only 3 are known to still be in service. These boats are equipped with MGK 500 SCAT sonar system, NATO reporting name Shark Gill. The lead boat of the class, K-284 Akula, was decommissioned in 2001, apparently to help save money in the cash-strapped Russian Navy. K-322 Cachalot and K-480 Bars are in reserve. K-480 Bars was put into reserve in 1998, and is being dismantled in February 2010. Pantera returned to service in January 2008 after a comprehensive overhaul. All were retrofitted with the SOx hydrodynamic sensors. All submarines before K-391 Brask have reactor coolant scoops that are similar to the ones of the Typhoon class SSBNs, long and tubular. Brask and subsequent submarines have reactor coolant scoops similar to the short ones on the Oscar IIS, The Typhoon, Akula, and Oscar classes use the similar OK650 reactor. Project 971 and 971I, improved Akula I. The 6 Akulas of this class are all thought to be in service. They are quieter than the original Akulas. The MGK500 sonar is upgraded to MGK501 SCAT. MS sources also disagree as to whether construction of this class has been suspended, or if there are a further 2 units planned. Improved Akula I hulls, K328 Leopard, K461 Folk, K154 Tiger, K419 Cusbus, K295 Samara and K152 Nirpa. These submarines are much quieter than early Akula-class submarines and all have the SOx hydrodynamic sensors except Leopard. The Akula I improved submarines have 6 533 mm decoy launching tubes, as do subsequent submarines. They have a different arrangement of limber holes on the outer hull than Akula I's. Nirpa and Iribis, not completed, have a different rescue chamber in the sail, which can be distinguished by the large dome on the top surface. Project 971U, Akula 2. K157 Vapir is the only completed Akula 2, see the table below. The Akula 2 is 3 meters, 9.8 feet, longer and displaces about 700 tons, submerged displacement, more than the Akula I. The added space was used for additional quieting measures. The MGK501 SCAT sonar system on Akula I is replaced to a new MGK540 SCAT 3 sonar system. K157 Vapir became the first Soviet submarine that was quieter than the latest U.S. attack submarines of that time, which was the improved Los Angeles class, SSN 751 and later. 2 of these submarines were used to build the Bore class SSBNs. Project 971M, Akula 3. K335 Jeopard is the only completed Akula 3, see the table below. There is no NATO classification for the Akula 3. It is longer and has a larger displacement compared to the Akula 2. Also, it has an enlarged sail and a different towed array dispenser on the vertical fin. Again, more noise reduction methods were employed. The Jeopard was the most advanced Russian submarine before the submarines of the Severodvinsk and Bore classes were commissioned. One of this class was used to complete the Bore SSBNs. The Soviet advances in sound quieting were of considerable concern to the West, for acoustics was long considered the most significant advantage in U.S. submarine technology compared to the Soviets. In 1983 to 1984 the Japanese firm Toshiba sold sophisticated, 9-axis milling equipment to the Soviets along with the computer control systems, which were developed by Norwegian firm Kongsberg Våpenfabrik. U.S. Navy officials and congressmen announced that this technology enabled the Soviet submarine builders to produce more accurate and quieter propellers. Due to the breakup of the Soviet Union in 1991, production of all Akula slowed. The 1999-2000 edition of Jane's Fighting Ships incorrectly listed the first Akula 2 as Viper, the actual name is Vapir, Wild Boar in Russian, commissioned November 25, 1995. Jeopard, Cheetah, launched 1999 and was commissioned December 5, 2001, and Nirpa, laid down in 1993, began sea trials in October 2008. It was commissioned by the Indian Navy as Inschakra 2 in April 2012. Leased to India. 300 Indian Navy personnel were trained in Russia for the operation of the Akula 2 submarine Nirpa. India has finalized a deal with Russia, in which at the end of the lease of these submarines, it has an option to buy them. The submarine is named Inschakra as was the previous India-leased Soviet Charlie ISSGN. Chakra was officially commissioned into the Indian Navy on April 4, 2012. Whereas the Russian Navy's Akula 2 could be equipped with 28 nuclear-capable cruise missiles with a striking range of 3,000 kilometers, 1,620 nmi, 1,864 miles, the Indian version is reportedly armed with the 300 kilometers, 162 nmi, 186 miles, Range Club S nuclear-capable missiles. Missiles with ranges greater than 300 km, 162 nmi, 186 miles, cannot be exported due to arms control restrictions, since Russia is a signatory to the MTCR treaty. Russia said in December 2014 that it is ready to lease India more nuclear-powered submarines a day after President Vladimir Putin and Prime Minister Narendra Modi pledged to deepen defense ties. In January 2015, it was reported that India was involved in negotiations involving the leasing of the cachalot and the Iribes. An agreement was reportedly reached in October 2016. NERPA 2008 accident. On October 27, 2008, it was reported that K-152 NERPA of the Russian Pacific Fleet had begun her sea trials in the Sea of Japan before handover under a lease agreement to the Indian Navy. On November 8, 2008, while conducting one of these trials, an accidental activation of the halon-based fire extinguishing system took place in the foresection of the vessel. Within seconds the halon gas had displaced all breathable air from the compartment. As a result, 20 people, 17 civilians and 3 seamen, were killed by asphyxiation. Dozens of others suffered Freon-related injuries and were evacuated to an unknown port in Primorsky Krai. This was the worst accident in the Russian Navy since the loss of the submarine K-141 Kursk in 2000. The submarine itself did not sustain any serious damage and there was no release of radiation. Recent overseas deployments. In August 2009, the news media reported that 2 Akula-class submarines operated off the east coast of the United States, with one of the submarines being identified as a Project 971 Shkyakabi type. U.S. military sources noted that this was the first known Russian submarine deployment to the Western Atlantic since the end of the Cold War, raising concerns within U.S. military and intelligence communities. The U.S. Northern Command confirmed that this 2009 Akula-class submarine deployment did occur. In August 2012, the news media reported that another Akula-class submarine operated in the Gulf of Mexico purportedly undetected for over a month, sparking controversy within U.S. military and political circles, with U.S. Senator John Cornyn of the Senate Armed Services Committee demanding details of this deployment from Admiral Jonathan W. Greenard, the Chief of Naval Operations. Class Overview. Name, Akula. Builders, Sevmash. Operators. Soviet Navy Ensign Soviet Navy. Russian Navy Ensign Russian Navy. Indian Navy Ensign Indian Navy. Preceded by, Victor Class, Sierra Class. Succeeded by, Yazan Class. Cost, EST $1.55 billion, $1995. Built, 1983 to 1994. In service, 1984, present. In commission, 1984 to 2009. Planned, 20. Completed, 15. Cancelled, 5. Active, 5. 4 active plus 5 on modernization in Russia, 1 active in India. Retired, 3. General characteristics. Type, nuclear-powered attack submarine. Displacement. Surfaced. 8,140 tons Akula I and Akula I improved. 8,450 to 8,470 tons Akula 2 and 3. Submerged. 12,770 tons Akula I and Akula I improved. 13,400 to 13,800 tons Akula 2 and 3. Length. 110.3 meters 362 feet for Akula I and Akula I improved. 113.3 meters 372 feet for Akula 2 and Akula 3. Beam, 13.6 meters 45 feet. Draft, 9.7 meters 32 feet. Propulsion. 190 MW OK650B/OK650M pressurized water nuclear reactor. 1 OK7 steam turbine 43,000 HP, 32 MW. 2 OK2 turbo generators producing 2 MW. 1 7-blade propeller. 2 OK300 retractable electric propulsors for low speed and quiet maneuvering at 5 knots, 9.3 km per hour, 5.8 miles per hour. Speed 10 knots, 19 km per hour, 12 miles per hour, surfaced. 28 to 35 knots, 52 to 65 km per hour, 32 to 40 miles per hour, submerged. Endurance, 100 days. Test depth, 480 meters 1,570 feet. Test depth for Akula I and Akula I improved. 520 meters 1,710 feet for Akula 2 and 3. 600 meters 2,000 feet maximum operating depth. Complement, 73 for Akula I and improved, 62, 31 officers, for Akula 2 and 3. Sensors and processing systems. MGK 500 or 540 active/passive suite. Flank arrays. Pelometa towed array sonar. MG70 mine detection sonar. Electronic warfare. And decoys. Bukta ESM/ECM. MG74 current noise simulation decoys, fired from external tubes. MT70 sonar intercept receiver. Nichromem IFF. Armament. 4 times 533 mm torpedo tubes, 28 torpedoes, and 4 times 650 mm torpedo tubes, 12 torpedoes. K152 NERPA has 8 times 533 mm torpedo tubes, 40 torpedoes total. 1 to 3 times Igla M surface-to-air missile launcher fired from sail, surface use only. Granite cruise missiles, now caliber. Notes. Chibli surface search radar. Medveditsa 945 navigation system. Malny Ya-M satellite communications. MGK-80 underwater communications. Tsunami, Kiparis, Anis, Sintes, and Kora communications antennas. Paravan towed VLF antenna. V-splits combat direction system.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.